Good morning. It's 2 a.m. in South Africa. So I'm half asleep, half awake as I speak with you. I bring greetings from the Diocese of Lesotho. Lesotho is a landlocked country in South Africa, a beautiful kingdom known as the Kingdom in the Sky because of its elevation. So thank you, Archbishop Jeremy, for extending the invitation for me to be part of this gathering of clergy. In my previous life as the rector of the College of Transfiguration, I taught pastoral care, women's studies, and youth ministry. But I love more teaching pastoral studies because I could tell those aspirant young men and women who wanted to be clergy how to prepare themselves for this church and for this world. So you have read the title of this topic. It's very broad, but it's anchored on the text from Acts chapter 17, verses 24 to 28. I call it the primary text for us. Those who read this might have really picked up some key words from that. It reads, "The God who made the world and everything in it, he who is Lord and of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by human beings, nor is he served by human hands, as though he needed anything, since he gives to all mortals life and breath and all things. From one ancestor he made all nations to inhabit the whole earth, and he allotted the times of their existence and the boundaries of the places where they will live, so that they will search for God and perhaps grope for him and find him, though indeed he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of our poets have said, for we too are of his spring." So there's 4 sessions that I have been given opportunity to present on. They will be based on this text as we look at in the life of a clergy person and how we find joy. So our lives are interwoven with a higher power that gives us purpose and meaning. This divine connection guides us through life's complexities, reassuring us that we are not alone and are being guided by a greater force than ourselves. Our relationship with God is a beautiful reminder of the grace and strength that surrounds us daily. I come from a context where we are now actively talking about having plenty of vocations, having lots of people offering themselves for ministry, but the church lacks resources to train and support them in their vocation. So in other dioceses, shortcuts are taken, and some of us know when you take shortcuts in ministry, in the next few years, you'll meet those same people in disciplinary hearings. So we shouldn't take shortcuts in preparing God's people to lead God's church. While love of God and the church is essential, clergy need more than just that to lead and minister to their specific communities effectively. It is wonderful to love the Lord. It is wonderful to love God's people. Those are few of the ingredients you need to lead the church. They're not be and end of it all. We must understand and support effective ministry, valuing our clergy unique contributions and ensuring that they feel understood and cared for. Bishops, this is yours. Your clergy needs to know that they are understood and they are cared for. The demands of modern society have reached into the church and in the ministry. Maybe it is similar to your context where I feel that the church has been turned into an instant gratification congregation. You know, when you have a powder and add hot water or other liquids and you have what you want to drink, it seems like the church has turned into that. People come with a sachet, we have to pour something, and then voila, it happens. But we know it's not how church functions. Clergy, especially in my community, are now expected to perform miracles so that they can retain the little of the congregation that they have. Even if you can ask them to dress like a clown to retain one member, they will. Parishioners feel that they have more power now. They are not satisfied any longer by Sunday church. They will ask, what are we doing on Monday when you are exhausted from that sermon that you've just preached? They want to meet as often with you. And if you don't get it right on Sunday, don't check your emails tomorrow morning. In your inbox, there'll be a litany of complaints of what you didn't get right. We must acknowledge these challenges and work towards solutions, so that we can make our clergy feel validated and heard. For many of my colleagues, your colleagues, ministry is becoming more of a burden than a source of joy. Ministry is often seen as a calling, a source of deep joy, and a way to serve others and fulfill a higher purpose. I think that's why many of us have answered this call, so that we can serve others and fulfill a higher purpose. However, there are times when ministry can feel more like a burden rather than a blessing. This shift can lead to a feeling of frustration, exhaustion, and even burnout. Understanding why this happens, we have to navigate through its essentials to know how we can minister and serve better. So I want us now to start with identifying the sources of burden. Why is it that we are burdened as clergy? One is unrealistic expectations. Those that are self-imposed and they expend external expectations. And both of them can weigh heavy on us. When you feel like you need to meet every need, that you have to please everyone or be a perfect priest or bishop, let me tell you, joy will quickly fade. You will not satisfy everyone. You do not sell ice cream. You are in the church. Yeah. The second part is overcommitment. Taking on too many responsibilities can lead to burnout. Your service and pastoral quality may diminish when stretched too thin, and your enthusiasm can wane. There are people who say, we like you when you are happy, and they have to try to think, when last were you happy? Another part is spiritual dryness. It's difficult to pour out to others when you are spiritually dry. When your connection with God feels distant. Ministry can feel like a hollow duty rather than a vibrant calling. We have amazing young men and young women, and not so young and old, who have nothing to give anymore because they've given so much and nothing is poured in them. And that's when we stop theologizing and starting having ideologies that we pass on to our congregants. And ideologies are very dangerous. And another part is conflict and criticism. Dealing with interpersonal conflict, criticism, or resistance from others in ministry can be draining and disheartening. When day in and day out, there's that congregant, there's that one person in the congregation. They come just for you. You can, and when you sit and prepare your sermon, you have them in your head because you want to satisfy them. But after the service, they can say, oh, well, you tried, but everything you do is not enough for them. And because misery loves company, they draw others with them. So the source of joy is often found in feeling connected, having a sense of purpose, and finding meaning. This joy can stem from different places depending on what deeply touches your heart. Here are a few key elements that could be seen as foundations of joy. One is gratitude, recognizing and appreciating the good in your life. Even small things can cultivate a deep sense of joy. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. When you are able to be thankful, even those that you don't have don't seem that much because you're grateful for what God has given you. Secondly is connection, building and maintaining meaningful relationships with others, whether through family, friends, or community, can provide a sense of belonging and joy. Genuine connections can create a space of love, support, and shared experience. Clergy are so overworked that even our friendships, some have died because we don't have time. Our families are sacrificed at the altar of pleasing the bishop or the archdeacon. So for us to be able to have an outlet and somewhere, let us nurture these friendships that we have outside of the church. Thirdly, it's purpose. Engaging in activities that align with your values and passion can be a powerful source of joy. Feeling that your actions contribute to something greater fosters a sense of fulfillment and happiness. What do you do when you're not at church? Someone may ask, what? I'm always at church. Some of us sleep with clerical shirts in case there's a call at night and I need to answer. I don't need to dress up. I'm already ready for that. Mindfulness, being able or being present in the moment, fully experiencing and savoring life as it unfolds can bring joy. Mindfulness helps reduce stress and allows you to connect with the beauty and wonder of the present. Many of us are here because our bodies are here. We are busy running our parishes and dioceses from here. We are not present. And some of us will leave this beautiful place without even venturing outside of this building. So be here. Enjoy this moment, because some of us will have to wait for another 6 years to gather like this. Be here. Another one is self-compassion. Treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially in difficult times, nurtures joy. Be kind to yourself. When people criticize you, do not criticize yourself. You have to be in your own corner. When you accept yourselves without harsh judgment, you can create an internal environment where joy can flourish. And spiritual connectedness. This will continue to come up as we go for this time together. Spiritual connection. For many, a profound spiritual or religious connection provides a foundation of joy. This connection offers peace, purpose, and feeling of being part of something greater. We started with a beautiful service and beautiful hymns or choruses, and that has nurtured us. I wonder if we started here straight with business, how we'll be feeling at the moment. But we had something to build this day on. The readings, the prayers, and the text. So understanding what brings you joy can help reignite that feeling significantly if it has been overshadowed by stress or other challenges. If ministry has become burdensome, reflecting on these roots might help connect with the aspects of it that initially brought you joy. So let's look at how we can practice this joy, or how we can regain it. Number one, set boundaries. Clergy, please set boundaries. Learn to say no when it's necessary. Protect your time and your family time. Protect your energy and emotional well-being by setting healthy boundaries. You are not Paul. You cannot be everything to everyone. You're just you. I know there are clergy persons I will not call after 7 p.m. because they have set boundaries and said, it's family time. I've been gone the whole day. Can I have this time with my family? There are those that I know when they're day off, unless it's an emergency, meaning that someone has died or is dying, I can contact them. But things can wait so that I have to really respect. And by doing that, I teach them to respect my time and my boundaries also. Number two, delegate responsibilities. Trust others with tasks and responsibilities. Delegating lightens your load and empowers others to grow in their role. We have discovered so many of vocations and talents and skills when we were delegating to others. When you're doing it all, no one is going to be satisfied and no one is going to be taught and prepared for this ministry. So when you delegate, there are those who will feel seen and understood. Prioritize self-care. Ensure you care for your physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Rest, exercise, and spiritual practice like prayer worship are essential to maintain your well-being. We don't eat well as clergy. We do not rest. We do not exercise. We do abbreviated prayers because we are always in a hurry. I tell clergy, and I've taught that the church will replace you after we have interned you to the ground or cremated you. Already your bishop is thinking of filling that space. Yeah. So take care of yourself, because the church doesn't deal well with vacuum. And for others, it sounds so careless and brutal, but that's the church. So take care of yourself, that you're able to serve it and be able to retire rather than die in office. Seek support. Connect with mentors, with peers, or spiritual directors for those who have them, who can provide encouragement and advice and listening ear. You do a lot of listening to other people's problems and challenges. Who listens to yours? My former bishop in the Diocese of Johannesburg used to say, I love clergy coming together, but I know that when they're in the same space congregated, they lie to each other. They talk of how wonderful they're doing, how their churches are growing, when you know very well that they're struggling. But they cannot tell their peers that I'm struggling, because we are constantly competing with each other. Who has a bigger church? Who has many ministries? Who's producing that and that? But we have to learn to be each other's confessors and our brother-sister keeper. And the last point is focus on small wins. Celebrate the positive impacts, no matter how small. Acknowledging the good that comes from your work can help shift your focus from burdens to blessings. There are small wins, but because they are small, many times we don't celebrate them, we don't focus on them. But those small wins, you have invested so much of your resources, including time. So when things happen, celebrate them. So what is essential for our well-being? Or why is joy essential for our well-being? When ministry becomes more of a burden than a joy, it's a sign that something needs to change. Your perspective, your approach, even your role. By addressing an underlying causes, seeking support, and making practical adjustments, you can find a path back to the joy and fulfillment that initially drew you to ministry. Remember that it's okay to acknowledge the struggles and to seek help when you need one. So what is joy? If someone can come and say, you're talking about common purpose and shared joy, what is this joy? So joy is a deep sense of contentment and well-being that transcends temporary circumstances. It's a state of inner happiness that often arises from meaningful connections and a sense of purpose and an appreciation of life's moments, big or small. It's unlike fleeting emotions like happiness, which can depend on external factors. Joy comes from within. So joy is more enduring and rooted in something more profound. So we look at the emotional resilience. Joy helps us navigate life's challenges by providing a stable foundation of positive emotions. We build on joy for us to succeed. It allows us to face difficulties more optimistically and recover quickly from setbacks. Physical health. So joy, as I said earlier, is linked to a better physical health. It can boost the immune system, so there's a doctor in me talking now. It can boost an immune system, reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even extend life expectancy. So imagine if we sell this as the church. How many people will come and want it? Yeah. Put it outside in your billboard. Worshipping with us will boost your immune system, reduce your stress, lower blood pressure, and even extend life expectancy. This is how the Anglican Church in Australia will grow. So a healthy body often accompanies a joyful heart. In the last 3 months, I've buried 4 clergy persons. And all of them, the doctors had said, change your lifestyles and you'll extend your life expectancy. So they died because of lifestyle. They were not taking care of themselves. They drank alcohol excessively. Their families were not intact. So it's a life for some of us that when we don't take care of ourselves and pour everything into the church, in most cases we don't get back what we asked for, but we get stress and all these chronic ailments. Mental health. Joy fosters a positive mindset which can ward off anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. It promotes peace and balance, contributing to overall mental well-being. And it helps with relationships because joy enhances our relationships with others. When joyful, we tend to be more generous, compassionate, and understanding, strengthening our bonds with family, friends, and community. And not generous with material things, but generous with our time, generous with our advices, generous with our love. Joy is often tied to a sense of purpose. When we engage in activities or work that align with our values and compassion, we experience joy, leading to a more fulfilling life. There are some of us that we are joyful when we preach because that might be a strength. When you ask me to lead the music department, I'm going to mess it up. That's not me. So when we are aware and use our gifts to the best of our ability and are joyful, we're able to share those vibes to those that are with us. And spiritual well-being. For many, joy is a spiritual experience, a connection to something greater than oneself. It can be a sign of spiritual alignment and a deep sense of peace and contentment in one's soul. Joy is essential because it enhances our quality of life and supports our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. We realize with this that for our clergy to be happy, it is not just only about how they are remunerated, but it is where they serve. Have we placed them in those places according to their abilities and strength, or there was a vacancy and we just plugged them there? Our clergy will be happy and joyful when the church takes care of whole of them, the whole system, and taking their families into recognition when decisions are done and made. So as I'm about to step off and give you some time to reflect, there are questions of reflection that I want to leave you with. And it all has to do with your vocation, whether lay or ordained, but it might speak more to the ordained. Number one, revisit your purpose. Take time and write it down. Why you said yes to this vocation. We forget it when the toughing gets when the tough gets going. That you were busy, happy somewhere, and you decided to come to the church and serve God. Why? Reconnect with your original sense of calling and purpose. Because when we start there, we will understand why we are where we are now. I always say to the people, I said I wanted to serve God, and God gave me God's people to lead. That was not the plan. Mine was to be for God. But God says, you can serve me by saving this troublesome bunch of people. That's how you will grow. Number two, as time of reflection and prayer, spend time in meditation, asking God to renew your strength and clarify your ministerial path. You are here now. Is it where God wants you to be? Ask God for guidance, reflect, and I think visualize of what you thought the church will be if it's not where you are now. Fourth part of it is evaluate your role. It might be time to consider if your current role is still where you are meant to be. Maybe it's time for you to go now. Is it where you're supposed to be now? Yeah, you're thinking of picking those boxes and think, where am I going? I'm tired of moving. Yeah. Sometimes a change in ministry focus, location, or even a temporary sabbatical can provide the necessary rejuvenation. Are you where you're supposed to be? And then last part of this reflection is open to new directions. Be open to the possibility that God might call you to a different service or ministry. Discernment and seeking wise counsel can guide this process. At times we are afraid to say, I think it's not working for me where I am. Because so much of you is connected to that place. But if your ministry, where you are, you're not finding joy, it's time to reflect. It's time to ask God, is it where I'm supposed to be? And if it gives you joy, let God open more paths for you. Have more ideas, dream. You have a beautiful setting here that you can use to reflect on what God is calling you to do next, or what God is already doing with your life. I know we have ended early, but it's important that we take the remainder time for us just to reflect and be in prayer with ourselves. But this is where, again, if you need a confessor, you can ask one of the clergy to listen to you as you reflect out loud on where God is taking you. I thank you.